I've been getting a lot of Vetted Biz members asking us, what do you think about Teriyaki Madness? Is it a good franchise? So we dug into their latest franchise disclosure document to see if they really make $1.1 million per store a year. So stay tuned as we answer that and more, including the franchise costs for opening up a Teriyaki Madness or buying one that already is open. So for those not familiar with Teriyaki Madness, fast casual restaurant, makes and sells Japanese style teriyaki dishes. They also have beverage and other items that they sell. Franchise fees is going to set you back anywhere from $45,000 to $150,000 to get a Teriyaki Madness. Total cost, $346,000 to $768,000 if you're starting a new Teriyaki Madness. The biggest cost is going to be the leasehold improvement, $100,000 to $260,000, and that goes to the landlord, contractors, and other suppliers to get the space built out. Also, furniture and fixtures isn't that cheap, $90,000 to $170,000, and you got to go through their approved suppliers for the furnitures, fixtures, and equipment. They require a minimum net worth of $500,000 and at least $150,000 to $200,000 in liquid assets. Royalty fee 6%, pretty standard for restaurants. Marketing fee 3%, restaurants usually 2%, so a little high. And then technology fee up to $600 per month per teriyaki shop. So they disclose average unit volume of 1.1 million. They only represent like 34 or so of the restaurants of the 89 plus restaurants in the chain. They have very tight criteria, couldn't have changed hands for a certain period of time, certain type of footprint. So they basically have a very narrow set that they report the financials on. So using $1.1 million in sales, we estimate at Vetted Biz, it's more like $800,000 or $850,000 when you include all the restaurants in the chain that have been open for at least 6 months. So using their estimates though, given the benefit of about $1.1 million, you're doing 10% margin, you're making $110,000. 20% margin, $220,000. So say you invested $550,000, you can expect a payback period of 4 to 6.5 years, including the time it takes to find, open the site, and pass break even and start making substantial income. So again, keep in mind, Teriyaki Madness failed to report the financials of more than 50% of their locations. They chose a very specific subset of restaurants to report on. This isn't that common for restaurant franchises to not disclose all the numbers. Sometimes they'll have a subset, especially the top performers, and have like quartiles. But this is pretty strange where they really created a pretty narrow subset and just reported the financials for that subset of franchises. So definitely got to talk to some existing franchisees, as well as talk to some franchisees that have sold or got out of the system. In fact, I saw there were 2 for sale. So one had an asking price, $475,000, cash flow $175,000, gross revenue $800K. So they're doing sales of $800,000 on that, rent of $5,700, and it was just established in 2020 and it's for sale now. So if the person invested $550 and they put in all that sweat equity, they lost $75,000 as well as their time. And then you have another one, asking price $466,000, cash flow of $165K. They do sales again, $799,000, $800,000. For that, again, it's kind of similar to the last one that's listed for sale, where maybe if they invested $350, it could have been worth it, but it might be better just buying an existing Teriyaki Madness based on the resales that I saw of these 2, as well as the prior resales that I've seen in the past. So Teriyaki Madness is still in expansion mode, so I'm not as focused on how profitable the business is. Some years they make $100,000, some years they lose $100,000 or more. But it's not like in the millions. They're not making millions. They're not losing millions. It's pretty stable. It seems like they have the cash to continue with the operations. 2021, they closed with 101 restaurants. Teriyaki Madness is growing and taking advantage of the consumer shift to takeout and delivery. The restaurants are optimized for that. Again, it might be better just to buy an existing Teriyaki Madness instead of going through the lengthy process of finding a location, building it out, all those expenses that it's hard to really predict how much it's going to be at the end of the day. Where when you buy an existing business and existing restaurants, you know more or less what you're getting into in terms of the time to acquire the restaurant and start making money from it. So definitely do your due diligence, talk to some existing franchisees of Teriyaki Madness, as well as talk to some of the ones that sold their locations and see if they sold for a profit or not.